life and energy and vibrance that you deserve. Now, a lot of you are here today because of the 10-day transformation. And there's a reason for that. The world really, really needs healing today. The planet really, really needs healing today. Right now, not to be political, but I turn on the TV and every commercial I see is a loving, old, motherly figure telling us we have to accept genetically modified organisms in this island for economic reasons. And I'm here to tell you that I believe that that's making a deal with the devil. Okay? I understand that there's important jobs, that people need jobs, they need to pay their bills, they need to feed their families. I get that. But at what cost? To themselves. At what cost to their children? At what cost to their neighbors? And at what cost to these islands? Because right now is a very important time. We could see the future. We could see the future, and we are suffering from malnourishment. I'm tying this all together just so that you know. Remember that I said that I believe that the human race is potentially on the precipice of extinction? Well, one of the main reasons why species become extinct is, one, because they get eaten by something else. It's called predation. There's too many predators. Number two, the climate changes right away. Think of, the dinosaurs when the Ice Age came. Or number three, and this is the one we care about now, the food supply disappears. The food supply disappears. So right now you might ask, but our food hasn't disappeared. I go into the grocery stores and there's abundant food in every corner. But here's the problem. For 40,000 years, our ancestors nourished ourselves with pure food, either pure plants from the soil or pure animals that ate pure plants from the soil. And that's what we ate. And then about 10,000 years ago, we began to cultivate plants and we began to herd animals, but they still were pure. And all they contained was the soil, the air, the sun, and the water. Everything that were in those plants came from the soil, the air, the water, and the sun. And today, for 40,000, 30,000, 20,000, 10,000, 5,000, 2,000, 1,000, 500, 300, 200, 100, for all of that time, up until about 100 years ago, humans ate the same food. Pure plants and pure animals. And today, 100 years later, when I go into the grocery stores, I look and I can only find 1% of the food, 1% or less of the food that is as pure as it was 100 years ago. Now, what's changed? Well, one thing I noticed is there's a lot of artificial colors. Does anybody know why they put artificial colors in food? Does anybody know why McDonald's and Burger King have bright orange and red and pink signs? Do you know why? Because God and Mother Nature put an instinct in our brain. So imagine that you're a hunter and a gatherer and you're starving and you're walking over the plains, and all of a sudden you look at a group of trees and you see bright color on those trees. What does your brain tell you? Food, nourishment, sweetness, satisfaction, life. Our brain is trained to pick out those colors and to run to them and to consume them for nourishment. So when they put an artificial color in our food, think of gummy bears and all those brightly colored candies. When they put brightly colored signs over restaurants and the food sold inside those restaurants doesn't have a bright color anywhere. Our instinct is to go there for nourishment. It is ingrained in our DNA. and they've hijacked it to deceive you, to trick you. Well, here's something else you don't know. The inside of our brain is a receptor site for red, a receptor site for blue, a receptor site for yellow. And so when we eat those artificial colors, guess what they do? They clog up those receptor sites, and all of a sudden our brains don't work as well. So that is poison, and it's in our food. And then I look and I see artificial sweeteners. And I don't know if you saw the article in Lancet that was just issued 2 weeks ago, or read about it or heard about it, but they have now proven that artificial sweeteners create serious fat deposits in our body that cannot be eroded, that they actually adversely affect our brain and trigger diabetes, trigger cravings for sugar. Artificial sweeteners do. If we had more time, I'd explain how, but I've known that for a while. And then you have trans fats, artificial fats. Do you know that there are scientific studies that show that trans fats cause cancer? Scientific studies that show that red dye and blue dye cause cancer, and they're still in our food. Did anybody hear me? I'm going to say it again. There are scientific studies that prove the ingredients that are in our food cause cancer, yet they're still in our food. You see, we don't even know that we're becoming extinct because 99% of our food has artificial fat that causes cancer, artificial colorings that could cause cancer, artificial sweeteners that could cause cancer. We've got, not to mention genetically modified organisms, not to mention irradiated ingredients, not to mention the fact that we've stripped away all of the nutrition from the food we eat, and there is a lot of bad news. But we're not here to talk about bad news. We're here to talk about good news. Because we have something, and this is my new mantra, okay? If you are involved in Purium, then we learned through our bank system. Who knows what I'm talking about when I say bank, in case I'm just talking, a few of you do, okay? So the bank system is a really cool system to figure out what motivates somebody. There are some people who really are system-oriented. They're the managers, you know what I mean? They organize meetings like this, maybe. And then there's people who are really passionately interested in changing people's lives. And there's people who love science. They want proof that it works. And then there's people who just want to save the world. You know what I mean? Kumbaya. I want to help you, and it feels good. And guess what? You know what's amazing? We have a system that really, really works. So you system people, we're all about you. Because it really, really works, people get dramatic and fast results. So you people who love that drama, love to get emotionally involved, like me, we got something for you too. For those people who love science, we've got clinically proven ingredients that are in the physician's desk reference, that have double-blind clinical studies, and we have thousands of case studies for those scientific people. And for the people who just want to make the world a better place, and we're all a little bit like that, I know, we're changing lives. We are changing lives. So I don't care whether you're talking to the person who loves systems, because man, we got a system. A 10-day transformation system that is so cool. It's based on such amazing principles, which I'm going to explain in a second, that people get dramatic results in 10 days. And in today's world of short attention span, what could you ask for better than 10-day results? And we don't even wait 10 days, do we? Usually it's like 5 or 6 days that people are feeling it really on the bandwagon. So we're talking 1 week results. So let me break each one of those down. We have a system. This system is based upon rhythm. Okay? Your body is nothing more than 40,000 years of genetic memory. And I'm going to tell you why no one else understands it except for us. First of all, imagine that you're one of those hunters and gatherers. Remember we talked about you're going across the plains and you see that fruit? But what if you don't see the fruit? And what if 1 week goes by and you haven't eaten? 2 weeks go by and you haven't eaten?